Reviewing your snake enclosures. You get the concept, right? Great, let's roll that logo.
Wait, you're just reviewing people's cages?
Yeah, Kent, basically.
So no snakes in this video.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. Let's do Kent's idea, and I'll grab a snake and we'll go sit down.
Dang it.
Okay, let's do this. And then we've got Koa, my little Brettles python, and we'll see how he does on this. He's never been on it before. All right, welcome to the Green Room. I'm Bob Bledsoe. This week, I asked the Horde of Keepers if they would send me photos or video of their enclosure for critique. And I got a lot of responses. Most of them are for ball pythons. Most of these cages are ball pythons, and some are other species. But I'll tell you this, I haven't looked in depth at these photos, just a quick glance as I downloaded each one into the file. I can tell you that if you're looking for inspiration for a new build or maybe to revamp a cage that you already have, you're going to get some here because the Horde of Keepers knows how to put a cage together. By the way, the Horde of Keepers are the folks who support the channel over on Patreon. I have close contact with them and they often help me out with stuff like this. All right, Koa's going to check out this new thing. I'm going to pull up these files and we'll get started. All right, this first one's from Mari White. This is a great looking cage. This is for an adult female ball python. Got a nice shelf. I love the hanging chains on that shelf and a bunch of clutter. And then the next one from her is for her adult male. Same thing. It's great. And it looks fantastic. Lots of color in it. This probably gets changed out quite a bit. Different figurines, different fake plants, stuff like that. Looks good. All right, next is from Cara Corvus. She's got a Brazilian rainbow boa enclosure. And wow, look at that. Really nice, naturalistic look to it. Man, it's just a piece of art. That's amazing. And then for her super dwarf retic, I love the sky hide, how she made it naturalistic. Cara, you got to come over and work on my cages. Wow, that looks wonderful. That's fantastic. Okay, next are some really nice big enclosures that Dark Moon Dragon has set up. These are Blackbox cages. One of them is a 6x2x4 for a super dwarf retic, and the other one is a 6x3x3 for a boa. Really nice big spaces, nice shelving, good little water feature for them to crawl into. Love the wood. That's great. Now we're on to Robin Scott. This is a cool cage. This is a 4x2x2. Again, tons of clutter. It looks like the probe is glued in the back the way I do it. Next one is for a ball python that I produced. And what a great cage for this little guy. You can see his little nose sticking out of his hide over there on the left-hand corner. It's got a ball like this. Looks like a 3D printed version. Everybody asks when they see these in my videos. These are it's a dog toy that you could get at any pet store. It's called a Holy Roller Ball, but people also 3D print them. But anyway, Robin Scott, great cages. Here's a video from Hog Strictors of his boa's cage. This is a Guyana red tail. Really cool. I love those perches. I can't tell if they look like they might be soft and foamy. It looks great. Love the sky hide. And then David also has a little rattlesnake in this cage. I don't recommend that people keep venomous snakes unless they really know what they're doing. And David at Hog Strictors does know what he's doing. And he's in Southern California. And just about every venomous snake in the world is illegal to keep in California unless it's one that's from California. So this is a Southern Pacific rattlesnake that is right here in our backyards. So really, really cool environment for this little guy. Great cages. You know, when the idea of this video was posed to me over on the Discord, I thought I was going to be giving a rating for these cages, like a 1 to 10, but they're all great. There might be some that I might change some stuff on, and I'll say if there is, but they're all great. All right, let's go to the next one. This blood python enclosure belongs to Crisis Corpse. And so this snake has a water dish to soak in. It's got a hide over there. Crisis Corpse says that this snake spends most of its time hiding under in the substrate. You know, blood pythons are kind of like ball pythons in that they're a little bit sedentary. They like to find a spot to burrow down and hide, and that's kind of their thing. So really pretty snake too. This is a new one. This is Mr. M's snake that he just got last week. This is a 6-month-old ball python. What a great setup you've got here. This is a nice setup with several hides, got shelving there, got some spots for her to hide. It's also not cluttered enough that you can't observe the snake and see when they poop and stuff like that, which is really important in those first several weeks, the first 30 days or so. For right now, having the snake for a week, this cage is perfect. Totally appropriate. Love it. Next is Blvd's snake, Shelby. This is for a ball python. Great cage. Tons of climbing opportunities. You know, some people put their climbing opportunities right up to the CHE or right up to their heat source, whatever it is, and that could burn a snake. So there's all kinds of climbing opportunities, but not right directly below that ceramic heat element. Really cool. Tons of clutter. Great environment for a snake. This is Kathy Conway's bioactive cage for her, I think, ball python. I love that it's kind of like on a hill. You know, everything goes up. There's some hiding opportunities. It looks like down underneath, and then there's that hide that's sitting on that little shelf. Beautiful. Great cage. Here's Jenna's cage for a young ball python. She said the snake has 3 hides and a humidity box. You know, for me, I only give a humidity box for a snake if they're going into shed and I think that their cage has been too dry. So I feel like if they need it, I give it to them, but I don't have a humidity box in there all the time. So this snake might be in shed at this point. I don't know, but it's easy for that moss in a humidity box to mold. So I don't just keep one in there all the time, but it's great to do if your snake needs it. So this is great. Again, tons of stuff. This is all, you know, I'm seeing all these cages with tons of stuff in it, which is exactly what snakes want. Betsy Youngbuck has a Tarahumara mountain boa. Those are so cool. And this is a 4x2x2 cage. I think that snake is young, and we don't see the snake, but it's got 5 hides and tons of stuff. It looks like maybe also humid hides in there too, possibly. Those little boxes, I don't know, but beautiful, perfect. Okay, this one's crazy. This is Scadia's rosy boa, and it's a 10x2x2 enclosure, 10 feet long for a rosy boa. All the room in the world, and it's just filled with stuff, which is fantastic. Really hard to find a poop in there, I would imagine, but but what a great enclosure. I mean, the snake could hide anywhere they happen to be. You know, this looks like a stuffed animal here or something that could potentially mold, I guess. I put a basket in a cage recently, and it molded immediately because it got a little bit wet, and so I'd keep an eye out for that. But wow, so much stuff in here. It's great. Little paper towel roll tube. Snakes love those. This is great. What a cute little rosy boa. Love it. Nice job, Scadia. Okay, in just a minute, we're going to look at a snake that's having a serious problem. But first, I want to look at some of the enrichment stations outside of cages that people sent me. And we're going to do that while we scroll the horde of keepers over on Patreon. These are the people that sent all of this stuff in. They often help me with videos, and they help out the channel, and they get a bunch of perks, and they're part of this great society. So if you want to be a part of that group, patreon.com/greenroompythons. Let's dig into these. Here's Phil's enrichment thing. Cat trees are such perfect things for snakes. Ball pythons love to climb up on them. I always say, you know, if the snake is able to climb more than a couple feet, you want to just watch them, just spot them and make sure that they're good, because they can easily slide off of those. But really cool thing for a snake to explore. Here's Skye's station right outside the cage. So the snake can have the cage open. They can go right onto the station, which this looks like it's for a parrot. It's another thing. You can repurpose all kinds of bird toys for snakes. This is great. There's a hide if they want to hide. I always think that's important if you're giving, especially a little snake, you know, a young snake, something out in the open that could potentially be scary for them. It's great to give them some hiding opportunities if they want to do that. Nice repurposing of a bird thing. And then here's Josh's station. I guess this is maybe a clothes rack that he's got this net over. It's probably the same net that I got from Amazon, also for a bird to walk on. I have that net somewhere. I should pull that out and put it on my snake wall. But this is great. It's just basically a frame for the net to be on. And then Sarah has almost the same thing. She's put together a frame with PVC pipe and used probably that same net from Amazon. These are great. Snakes do really well in nets like that, especially semi-arboreal snakes like Koa here does really well on nets like that. Thanks again to the Horde of Keepers. Really appreciate you. And special thanks to our channel sponsors, Blackbox Cages, you're seeing a lot of their cages in this video. Lane Labs, the Royals Project, and Rare Genetics RGI. Appreciate them very much. All right, let's talk about the snake that's having a problem. The snake belongs to Ghost, and the cage we're looking at right now does not belong to that snake. This is, I think, for a ball python. Looks great. Fantastic cage. I love the shelf. This is a shelf with a lip option that Blackbox does. So that's a great cage. This must be for a younger snake. I don't know. I don't know what specifically, but great one for a little guy. And now let's get to the snake that's having a problem. Okay, so Ghost purchased a green tree python at a reptile show from a breeder or from a seller, let's say, that told him that the green tree python was captive hatched. And he took it home and set it up, and it didn't eat for him and still hasn't eaten for him. That was 7 months ago. Ghost knows what he's doing and knows that the snake needs veterinary care, and it's gotten veterinary care. The vet, on the first check, they found out that there was disease and parasites. Very consistent with a wild caught animal. By the way, when he talked to this breeder, the breeder, when it's like a husband and wife team, I guess. When the snake was sold to them, the wife told him that it was captive hatched. Then when he called later and said, "Hey, the snake won't eat for me," the husband said, "Oh, it was a farm hatched." So that's like it would be like a farm over in another country where they hatched the snake and then sent it over. And a lot of times, when the exporter says it was farmed, it was wild caught. Or a lot of times the importer or the person that's selling it will take a wild caught animal and call it farmed. So you just don't know. But the fact that there was one story from half the team and another story from the other half just makes you think that they're just making stuff up. And also, I mean, you don't know that for sure. But also the fact that parasites, disease, several different diseases apparently. I'm guessing a respiratory infection. I don't know what else. The cage looks great. This perch is way too big for a snake this size, but he's got smaller perches in the cage also. You can see one down below. He's got a bunch of different sizes, and he told me that the snake does use the smaller perches and perches appropriately like a green tree python would. So anyway, the snake is still alive even though it's never eaten on its own, because he's got it on a steady diet of critical care carnivore that he's syringe feeding this snake. I don't know if it's weekly or whatever, but whatever the vet told him to do, that's what he's doing. And more vet checks. He's taking the snake to the vet next week to see if it's got a clean bill of health at least. And then the only problem is getting it to eat. So Ghost is doing a great job with this snake. It's such a tough situation when you buy from a breeder or from a seller that tells you something that's not true, because you just don't know. And we tend to blame ourselves for that. We go, "Oh, I shouldn't have bought that snake from that person," but you just don't know. So you always want to do your research ahead of time and do all your due diligence, but still something like this could happen. Anyway, Ghost is doing a great job with this snake. So fingers crossed. We wish him luck. All right, this cage is from Umei, and this is for a young ball python. Interesting cage. It's got the screen top, but it opens from the front. So I like the front opening. Some people don't like that kind of substrate, that cocoa core substrate, because it gets in their heat pits in their nose. But I feel like it's similar to bioactive substrate, which can do the same thing. And it looks like that cocoa core is kept relatively moist, so there's not tons of dust all over the place. But yeah, the cage is great. It's got very, very simple. It's got a hide. I'd throw another hide in there maybe. Looks nice though. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say is maybe cover the screen top if you're having humidity problems. You've got heat from above, 3 different ways from above, and that's going to dry out your cage pretty quickly. So I would maybe cover that screen top, tape it up anywhere you don't have a heat element shining down. We've got a cage for a Mexican black king snake. This looks great. They don't need as much humidity, and this looks like maybe aspen substrate. That's great. They'll burrow down in that, and that's kind of their hide. They'll sit underground or they'll go in these pots. I love these little pots. Those are great. Very cool. Nice job. Okay, I love this cage from Amanda, partially because this is for a snake that I produced named Nandor the Relentless. Such a great name. Love it. And this is a fantastic little cage for this baby snake. Got a bunch of hiding spots, and it looks like maybe a mix of cocoa husk and moss in there, possibly. It looks like there's a Govee thermometer humidifier, and then there's one of those stick-on ones The only thing, if that's like an adhesive stick on, I'd get rid of that just because snakes get on that adhesive all the time. But it also may not be. It might be one that is like a suction cup thing. So that's possible. But what a great little cage. Love the sunflowers. And then this one is for a 2-year-old ball python of Amanda's. Really, really nice. Are these real plants? No, I think those are plastic. Yeah. But it looks beautiful. It's great. It's got one of those balls in there. That's a beauty cage right there. Nice job, Amanda. Here are a couple enclosures from Tyler. One's for a ball python. The other one is for a red-tailed boa. I think this one is the ball python one, but I'm not sure. Maybe we'll see the snake. Look, this looks great. There's a humid hide in there and log and a bunch of logs. A bunch of stuff in there. And then let's look at the other one. This one maybe is for the boa, I would think, because of the perch. And yeah, same type of setup. Looks great. Tyler said ignore the humidity readings on the thing because when the cage is open, the readings drop, which I got that message from so many people. Like, don't worry, the humidity isn't that low. It's a problem we all have. And I'm going to admit to something. I have in past videos opened my cages to talk about a snake. And then by the time I go in to film the actual cage, the humidity monitor is super low. So I'll hold it in my hand to get it high enough just so that I can film for the video. Because, you open a cage and it dries everything out immediately. So I feel like I'm not really lying because the cage is that humid. It's just not showing that at the moment, right? Okay, let's go on to the next one. Here we go. Nice job, Tyler. Okay, here is an entry from Azara Grimm. A whole bunch of us are about to go and see Azara in Minnesota. We're taking a Horde of Keepers trip. There's going to be about 30 of us descending on her family's farm property in Minnesota. And then we're going out looking for rattlesnakes and stuff. Guided by Dave Kaufman. It's going to be such a fun trip. I'm so excited. All right, Azara, let's look at your cages. So this is great. So the bottom one is a 4x2x2 for a ball python. And the top one is a 4x2x1 for a Sandboa. I think Kenyan Sandboa. So the ball python one looks great. I love all the hanging stuff that the snake can climb up on and curl up on. I don't know how big the snake is, but I'm guessing it's small enough to curl up in that knitted purple thing. Beauty. And then the Sandboa's cage. This is exactly what you want for a Sandboa. When you have a Sandboa, you have a cage of sand, basically. And if you're lucky at night, you'll see your snake. People love their Sandboas. I've never kept one before. And honestly, that's the reason, because you don't see them very often. But ball pythons are kind of like that too. But I feel like you see Sandboas even less. But people who keep Sandboas, and you'll probably see in the comments, people who keep Sandboas love them. So there is something to Sandboas that I have not discovered yet because I don't keep them. I'm just turning Koa here to see. Oh, there's his face. There's his little face. I'm just going to move him right there. He's doing well. He's just hanging out, I guess. All right, Azara, nice job. I love this Sandboa cage. It could be just sand with nothing else probably. Sand in a water dish, but she's made it look great. It looks wonderful. Nice job. You know what? I shouldn't say that. I know nothing about the care of a Sandboa. I've never cared for them before. I shouldn't say that all they need is sand and water. It's probably not true. Don't listen to what I say about Sandboas. They're great though. They're really cool. Okay. Here's Nyasha's cage. Now this snake is Socks. I think this is one that I produced, and great cage. This is a Blackbox cage with the permanent shelving. I have removable shelves in mine, but I have some cages coming with the permanent shelving, and I'm excited about that. This cage is great. It's got the small black box hides and a whole bunch of stuff that the snake can go down and feel like it's hidden, or it can be totally out in the open on this shelving. And so look where the probe is. This is good probe placement because it's glued. The wire is glued up the. Oh no, the wire. Oh, I see. The wire goes in from the vent, and then it's just sitting on the shelving there. So as long as the snake can't pull that wire way down and like accidentally bring it with them or something and bring it away from the radiant heat panel, that's going to work really well to give you an accurate reading versus the way I do it, which is gluing into the wall. this will give you an even more accurate reading of what the snake is sitting at. Yeah, that's a great cage for that little snake. Socks is looking good. Here's Skye's cage, I think for a ball python. Great. I love the leaf litter down there. It's probably bioactive. I can't tell if these plants are real or fake. I think the plants are fake, but the substrate looks bioactive, so I don't know. It looks really nice though. Just so much stuff to climb on and get under and feel comfortable and safe. Here's Brandon's cage, also I think for a ball python. I like how it's got the wallpaper on all three sides of the cage. That's really nice. And then it opens in the front. Looks like the substrate is cocoa husk. It looked like it was maybe mixed with moss, but I think it's just cocoa husk. Lots of climbing and navigation opportunities for that snake, and easy to just grab stuff and mix it up. Nice job. Wow, that was a lot. The Horde of Keepers always sends me more than I think I'm going to get when I ask them for something. So thanks to them for sending those cages. I hope you guys were inspired by some of these. I didn't do nearly as much critiquing as I thought I was going to do when I first was planning this video. But so cool to see all these cages. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.